Eeveelutions are pretty cool. Everybody seems to like them. Everyone's got their favorite. Everyone keeps going on about what's the next evolution gonna be? Is it gonna be dragon? Or ghost, or even normal? That would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? But no, why don't we take a little bit of a step back? Let's think, why does there have to be another one of a different type? What if they just evolved again, for example? Well, True Green 7 has answered that question. My good friend Ron has created new Eeveelutions. Or new Eeveelutions. New Eeveelutions. Yes. And today we're going to have to take a look at them and see what's going on.
Hey guys, Ron here, and
Hey Ron, guys here.
Eeveelution content gets views on this channel, so we're back at it again.
And wow, boy was he right. Jesus, 1.3 million views. He was so right. All right, I'm going to hit that like button right there too.
But also, I'm a big fan of Eeveelutions. I have no negative feelings towards any of them. That's why I would love to see them reach even higher potentials. Even though Eeveelutions are already relatively powerful Pokemon.
Well, that's being a bit generous. There are some very strong ones, and then there are some not so strong ones. And listen, with the power creep from Generation 9, I don't think there's any problem giving them another evolution, maybe increasing the base stat total by about 100. Well, actually 100 would be a lot, because that would put it over a lot of legendaries, because I think they're all like 525, are they? Yeah, this is Espeon's page right here. 525 seems to be the Eeveelution base stat total. So maybe we could just add like 75. Yeah, 75 stat increase. That's nice. That's a good amount. Some Pokemon don't even get that. Did you know that when Scyther evolves into Sizzle, its stats don't go up? They just change? Isn't that weird? I think that's right. I hope that's right. It's going to sound really dumb if it's not right.
Since I have the power and will, I'm going to evolve them one final time. I mean...
Wait, how did you do that? What's going on with that?
To those who have paid attention to the stats of the Eeveelutions, that means that all of the fake ones
That's what we were just talking about.
I'm creating today are technically legendary. Not only...
Oh, okay. So we're definitely going to increase them by a decent amount. I mean, pseudo-legendaries have 600 as their base stat total. We could just end up around there, or we could just go above. I mean, it doesn't really matter, though. Does it matter? I feel like it doesn't matter. I mean, Mega Evolutions, they have 650 base stat total. Why don't we just have a little Eeveelution bonanza? It makes some strong ones. It's just a thought process. It's just for a little bit of fun.
Stat-wise, but lore-wise as well. I want to expand on the existing lore of Eeveelutions and even give them additional types that haven't been incorporated into Eeveelutions.
Okay.
What if Eevee's unstable DNA made it evolve once again? Let's find out. But remember...
And what typings could they get that they don't already have? Like, for example, would Leafeon turn into Leaf Ground type? It's Leaf Ground type? Daniel, you've been playing this game since 1999. What are you doing?
Bro, I'm not mega evolving Eeveelutions here. I'm not just adding a few extra traits like armor or jewels to existing Eeveelutions. They will be completely new Pokemon, just like how Shiftry isn't just a fancier Nuzleaf, or how Ludicolo isn't just a bigger Lombre.
Alright, I like the sound of that.
The whole point is that they are the next step in the line. So expect what you love about Sylveon to not really be completely intact in its evolved form. Or do, I don't know what you like. I mean, I can confirm that the Sylveon evolution that I'm making has the same color scheme, and if that's your favorite part of Sylveon... like,
sure, I mean, that is most people's... Well, I think it's a lot of people's favorite part about Sylveon, really. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Its eyes kind of freak me out a little bit, though. Just those eyes, they're a little freaky.
Is mine, then you're going to be satisfied.
I do really like the color scheme, though. It's really grown on me.
If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and definitely subscribe so I know that you want to see a part 2 and evolutions to the remaining half of the Eeveelutions. How about
we're doing half of them, okay?
Nope.
All right, Umbreon. I'm guessing it's going to maintain its defensive stature. It's going to be even more defensive, even more bulky, maybe a little bit faster. But what for the design? Umbreon's design might be one of the best designs in Pokemon. This one's going to be a hard one to improve or, evolve. Sorry.
Particular reason other than I think this guy is gonna have the least amount of changes, and I want to ease you into the concept of this video. Don't want to scare you. Although, to be fair, the whole point of the evolution I'm cooking up is that it's a scary predator.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna go ghosts? Oh, no, we're not gonna go ghosts.
It already is, but what if it were more imposing visually and way more dangerous?
Maybe sharper edges?
Umbreon was destined to be a poison type. Its beta concept...
Poison! Oh, that's right. It was originally supposed to be a poison type, wasn't it? That makes sense. And its Pokedex entries talk about toxic frills and things.
It was a poison evolution. Its Pokedex entries talk at length about how it sweats and sprays poison. So I want to fully commit and expand on this trait along with its ability to blend into its surroundings and hunt down prey. I'm going to turn its pointy parts into stingers and give it the look of a leopard and by extension, a panther.
Oh, I love panthers. That's sick. That's cool. My cat, Leo, black cat, very cool. Definitely just a little panther. He hunts flies. It eats them for some reason. It just eats spiders. It's all weird.
And change color will adorn its fur. It'll look like a predator on an alien planet. The whole point is that Eevee has now fully evolved into the ultimate killing machine. I'm starting with the big predatory body of a panther, something with a lot.
God, I love panthers. I'm sorry, they really do just remind me of my cat. This is my cat, Leo, by the way, for all of you wondering. I'm paying the cat tax right now. I'm paying the cat tax. Okay, cat tax has been paid. I mean, just look at this guy. He's definitely a very scary predator, and he definitely hunts and he definitely murders a lot. Don't let this huggy little guy confuse you, okay?
Large neck, so that even though it'll have a similar, details to Umbreon, it automatically does not have the exact body of one. Gotta make sure it's not facing us. All the other evolutions will be directly towards the audience, but this one it's indifferent to us. The eyes are more mature versions of Umbreon's, and I originally wanted the ears to be either porcupine-like or perhaps made of toxic gas, but honestly, just fatter versions of the original is good enough.
Okay.
It looks like they are engorged with poison. Facing the back like a standoffish cat, the tail will officially be a stinger.
Ooh.
It naturally flows from the previous form. I'm giving it wispy, gaseous whiskers, and I thought I was genius for adding in these gassy manes, both tying it to the legendary beasts, making it look more like a big cat, and differentiating it from Umbreon. But again, when it comes to the Eevee family, you need to be subtle. So that means that this mane kind of ruins the sleek silhouette. I want it to look shady and sneaky, not proud and regal, so after refining the shapes, I took the mane out. Yeah, it now looks more like an Umbreon, but it's an Umbreon evolution.
And you gotta keep those circles, those bands, the yellow bands.
Spots again. A nice progression from the existing traits Umbreon has. It will be symmetrical and refined, both to make it look more cat-like, but also since it's a poison type now, it looks like a sludge, almost like bright markings to warn others. But as you'll see in the lore, it's also there for the opposite reasons. I'm giving it a similar color scheme to Umbreon, but way more radioactive looking.
Oh, green.
Like I've been saying for years, it ain't mean to add some green. Beware the evolved form of Umbreon, Umbreus.
Oh, look at this. This is really cool. Okay, look at the stats. He did add 75 to the base stat total, bringing it up to around about 600. I was right. So that's sick. Okay. We got really good. Okay, we got good attack now. Lowered special attack. Oh, decent speed now. Okay. Still incredibly bulky. We have corrosion. And that big tail. Bulbous. Looks like it can inject something. It looks like a scorpion's tail almost. He's got a little whisker.
The Moonlight Pokemon from...
God, this thing is huge too. Look at the height difference between the Ron and the Mon down there. The Ron and the Mon. That's great.
Umbra, meaning shadow, and Deus, meaning god. A dark poison type. Umbreus' whiskers allow it to locate prey. The spots on this Pokemon's fur can change color, allowing Umbreus to camouflage into its environment. Umbreus secretes an odorless sweat that completely cloaks its scent and location. Umbreus' prey never sense its presence. At the right moment, Umbreus pounces on its prey and injects a venom from its swollen tail that instantly knocks out its food. It is believed that gamma radiation reflected by the moon has been absorbed by Umbreus, giving it radioactive venom that destroys cells and even atoms. Tracking down an Umbreus is impossible. Its existence is legendary as a result of its mastery of evasion. It has the abilities Corrosion and the hidden ability Inner Focus. I can't take credit for its awesome shiny since Umbreon already had a great shiny.
Oh, sorry, you can't see the shiny because of my big stupid head, but there it is. That's a pretty solid looking mon. Does anyone else think that big cats are some of the scariest creatures out there? I think about big cats all the time. Like, they're terrifying. People just think that lions, panthers, jaguar, cheetah, they're just fun and chill. Have you seen a regular house cat? They'll attack you, and they're tiny. A big guy, it's over. Anyone that thinks they could just walk out into the Pokemon world after realizing that big cats are so scary and think, okay, super-powered versions of them, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. It's not going to cause any problems whatsoever. You're crazy. You know what happened if I lived in the Pokemon world? I'd be dead. I'd be impaled by a Beedrill on day 3 if I made it that far.
All of the Pokemon evolutions in this video evolved via an item that unlocks the full potential of Eeveelutions. It's the same item for all. I assume it's a straight-up radioactive stone that destabilizes Eevee's DNA further, but I can't say I'm not biased towards this color scheme. It's amazing. Okay. Sure, in this video, it's the evolution most similar to its previous form, but its body type is definitely heftier than Umbreon's, and its skull is much more massive. Umbreon was always black cat coat.
Yeah, he's definitely thicker, and I think the thickness works with the defensive stats.
So to fully realize it as a leopard is what I've always wanted to see. Now that you're eased in, I want to change a lot about Leafeon. Not because I dislike anything about its design, because honestly, Leafeon looks perfect, but rather because I wanted to take its leaves and turn them into entire trees.
I'm sorry, Leafeon looks like I could accidentally, cut it in half.
You see, most of Leafeon's lore is about how it produces a bunch of clean air. Sounds like a tree to me. They're the same picture. So let's fully develop Leafeon into a forest spirit that represents the entire planet. You may be thinking fairy is appropriate, but Sylveon already exists, so I'm gonna make it ground type. Because
It was grass ground, leaf ground. Yeah,
very
leaf
much represents
ground.
the earth. I don't think anybody would challenge that statement. And trees are rooted into the ground and pretty much always touch dirt. Grass/ground Leafeon Evo it is. Eevee's mutation has gone so far as to return it to the planet's ecosystem. This will be the toughest since I
Return it to the planet's ecosystem? Oh my god, could you imagine being returned to the ecosystem? I don't want to be returned to the ecosystem. Crikey, that sounds terrible.
I plan to deviate from the original's body type quite a lot, almost like the opposite of the Umbreon evolution. I'm starting with a more deer-like body. The hardest part is whether or not to also get extreme and give it the face of a deer-like Pokemon.
Oh, this is going to have some big defense, I can already tell. Maybe some big HP too. I mean, HP would make sense because it's healing the earth.
Or keep it feline-esque. I'll struggle with that at this point of the process, but it all comes down to it not even looking anything like a Leafeon, especially now that I turned the leaves on its ears and tail into full-on trees. I even made some of the hair tufts into branches, so in order to balance out the crazy difference in this Pokemon's body parts, I decided to finally give it a face more akin to its previous form. Now I'm more confident in the aesthetic. Its feet are now slender hooves covered in bark and dirt, and the
Oh, it's almost like a leaf version of a
end
Xerneas.
of its branches are a bunch of tiny leaves. You know what trees are. I mean, is there any
Oh, it reminds me of Source Vodka
human
too.
above the age of 2 that does not know what a tree is?
This
Who
is
cares?
cute.
Why am I asking these questions? Do people even watch this part of the video? Comment with your favorite tree if you're actually watching right now.
Dude, I like the coconut tree. It's a pretty good one. But I also like the big ones in the forest and in the UK. I don't know what they're called, but we have a lot of forests in the UK, and I used to just walk through them. There's these really, really tall ones that seem to just stretch out for miles, and the canopy just kind of covers everything, and it's really big and imposing, and it really makes you think about how small you are really in the world when it comes down to it. That tree is so big. How did that get so big? How did that get up there? Do trees have feelings?
Okay, honestly, don't do that. I literally do not care about your favorite
Oh, okay, that's unfortunate.
tree.
Yeah,
but
all
I
right,
do
never
care
mind.
about your favorite grass type Pokemon, so like, I mean, let me know in the comments.
Do you, Ron? Do you care about my favorite grass type? Do you really care? I don't know if you do, Ron, but just in case you do, it's Bulbasaur.
I finally added some of the bark texture and began coloring away, but even that was a hassle because I didn't know where the fur ended and tree began at some points in the body. To be fair, Leafeon does showcase a very noticeable transition in its colors between fur and leaf. So this question I had when coloring in... Oh my god. So this question... I thought there was a bug. So this question I had when coloring in my evolution carried over.
Wait, was there a bug? Are you good? Is he okay? Can someone check on Ron, please? I think that might be a bug in his room. Who am I talking to? There's only my cat in my house right now.
At this point, I kind of, for some reason, forgot that I wanted it to be a ground type, but then I remembered, so I added some sedimentary stripes. Adding those helps with my problem, and I also gave it layers that look like earth, finally making it look more like a ground type.
That is a
Behold,
good idea.
Leafeus.
Oh, Leafeon! Okay, so we have Sap Sipper. That does make sense because now we have neutral hits from grass, which is going to be completely nullified. Very cool. We have a shiny that looks like of course, the autumn trees, the autumn leaves. Very cool as well. Love the body coloration. Huge defense on this thing. Crikey, that is a massive defensive statistic there. My goodness. And of course, we always have the 130 in a stat. It's like an Eeveelution staple to have 130 in one of the stats. Very cute. Looks like you could ride this too. You shouldn't. You probably shouldn't. It'd probably break its back.
The verdant Pokemon, a grass ground Pokemon. As Leafeus walks, the air behind it purifies. It strolls from forest to forest, revitalizing life. When it encounters particularly devastated ecosystems, it plants its hooves into the ground, stretching out roots for miles, and begins to replenish the environment's energy.
Wow, so it just chills there for a long time? I feel like that'd be quite boring though. What would you do if you're planting out hooves in the ground? What do you think about it? You can't scroll Twitter or anything like that, or YouTube Shorts, so what are you gonna do with your mind? Puzzles, I guess? Mathematics?
It despises conflict, but will bash its antlers into those who hurt the planet. Leafeus will send a storm of razor-sharp leaves to protect the forest. It's easy to track the path of Leafeus, as the plants in its wake are far greener, but no trainer dares approach one and invoke the wrath of every forest Pokemon who's compelled to fight on behalf of Leafeus. It has the abilities Sap Sipper and Chlorophyll, and its shiny is just how I like it. I was gonna give it Grassy Surge originally, but that kind of weakens the power of Earthquake and Bulldoze, and I would definitely want Leafeus to utilize
Yeah, it would seem counterintuitive to do something like
Earthquake. But hey, if you think high horsepower is enough to do the job, then let me know if you think Grassy Surge should be the ability instead.
Actually, no, that would work. I mean, Earthquake is like one of the best ground type moves, obviously, but high horsepower is pretty much up there. It's almost the same amount of power.
Design-wise, it's definitely more complicated than I anticipated one of these Pokemon being, but it still looks very natural and definitely the natural progression of Leafeon. I'm in love with the colors, and I'm proud of how I shaded the shrubbery.
It's
the
very
first time
pretty.
I did it this way.
It looks great.
Flareon seems to be the evolution that is dogged on the most.
Oh,
Mostly
yes.
for its competitive prowess. I mean, I assume its move pool doesn't make much sense with its stats. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I found a perfect solution, but
It's really never... Flareon has really never been that great. Everything else seems to have caught its niche. Sylveon is great. I mean, Leafeon can work on sun teams. Umbreon is a good defensive wall. So is Vaporeon. There's a Wish Passer. You've got Jolteon, good special attack. Espeon, we all know Espeon's fantastic too. Flareon just never seemed to find its stride. It just always seemed outclassed by other fire types like Arcanine, which is the greatest Pokemon of all time. Obviously, my favorite Pokemon, Arcanine, the greatest and the strongest, and also the goodest boy in the world.
Hope it doesn't make it worse. The lore that we're going to be expanding on is the fact that Flareon's fluffy fur releases heat into the air so that the body does not get excessively hot. But what if Flareon's mutation wears off and causes it to slowly lose the ability to contain and release a healthy amount of heat? It overheats and becomes a ghost. The thermal...
It overheats and dies? Jesus, poor Flareon. This thing cannot catch a break. Not like you can catch a break if you use code Patterrz at Gamer Subs for money off your... Sorry, that was really dumb. You can use code Patterrz at Gamer Subs to get drinks caffeine and caffeine free worldwide. It's great.
Energy mixes with its soul. Now, this doesn't happen in real life. There's no physical phenomenon that I can point to as an inspiration.
Spontaneous combustion.
So you're going to have to go along with this fantastical origin. My goal is to make Flareon seem a bit more badass.
Wait, you're asking me to suspend my disbelief in a video about making new Pokemon? I don't know if I can do that. This doesn't seem realistic enough for me.
A cool yet still beautiful type of Pokemon. My favorite type of Pokemon, personally. We begin with a mid-action pose. Dude is battling demons. Thank God he's a demon himself. But we're basically drawing a Flareon.
Oh no, he's so mad about being constantly dogged on and never being good at battles that he's turned into an actual devil.
With way more fluff and a more feline face. The eyes are also more serious, so much so that its face is a skull. That's how serious it gets. Nothing more serious than a skull. Its face was burnt off. I mean, that's even more serious than you thought.
Oh god, he's like Dobby from My Hero.
I mean, a skull could belong to someone who died of old age or something. But no, this skull belongs to a Flareon whose face was burnt off. The problem is that we don't want to make it look too edgy and hardcore. Remember that a huge rule of Pokemon designs is to avoid extremes. I think I'm going to do that by making sure every single other aspect of this Pokemon is soft and cuddly. But obviously I'll also tone down the skull a bit. The neck fur will also be swirling ectoplasm, kind of like a Spiritomb.
Oh wow, look at this! This is cool. It does look like a fusion.
I assume it'll be spinning
right
like one when animated in the game. Honestly, if there are any 3D animators in chat who for some reason, did I say in chat? In the comments, who for some reason have no time and love my content so much that they'll just like animate a Fakemon of mine, animate this one. It would be very tough though, so I mean, I'll compromise. Animate Twug.
Animate Twug?
Kind of the opposite of this guy. The tail and fluffy head.
Oh, he seems like a nice little guy.
Will look more like a Will-O-the-Wisp, and some stripes to look both like a
damn, this thing looks fierce.
Tiger, but also like bones. I'm first giving it Flareon colors before.
Oh, the white is so sick. I know it's skulls, but oh my god, that's really cool.
Making the orange more of a violet red, so it's a bit of a ghosty vibe. Honestly, the line work on this one is some of my favorite I've ever done. This is Flareon.
Damn, this looks really cool. Okay, so we have a fire ghost type with 130 attack. We have 125 special attack as well, so it can use physical special moves. We have low speed still, 130 defense. You know, this would be a crazy assault vest user. I mean, it's not very fast. You can always use flame charge to build up your speed with an assault vest so you can tank a ton of hits with 130 special defense, but you also have really, really, really good attacking stats too. So you could build up some speed with flame charge and even use Rockhead. Ooh, Rockhead. Does that, I wonder, Head Smash maybe?
The flame Pokemon, a fire ghost type. When Flareon's ability to contain the heat within...
Flare Blitz. I'm an idiot. Flare Blitz. Of course, Flare Blitz. Flame Charge, Rockhead, Flare Blitz will go crazy.
Fur is diminished, it spontaneously combusts and evolves into Flareon. This Pokemon is silent and contemplative. It barely reacts, but lets out a loud roar whenever it attacks.
He barely reacts. Not like me. Am I right, guys? Oh, man.
Its boiling fur swirls around it, protecting Flareon from harm. Its head is hard as bone. It launches itself with
because it's bone.
Fire blasts that release from the striped holes on its body, headbutting foes. Now that its flame sac has burst, Flareon is constantly releasing an unstable amount of heat, so none of it's properly contained. Therefore, its emotions do not contribute to more or less firepower. In fact, Flareon does not emote at all. It is completely solitary. No soul dares approach it and risk spontaneous burns. It has the ability Rockhead and Guts. Can I get some love for its shiny in the comments? I thought Rockhead would be nice, so we can finally use moves like Flare Blitz and Wild Charge without any consequences.
Oh, Wild Charge too, that's good. Yeah, build up its speed, use Flare Blitz and Wild Charge. That's
This
good.
is my favorite in terms of the art itself. The design, I think, successfully looks both approachable and eerie, like a beautiful flame. Very legendary looking too.
It does, it looks
The last
really sick.
evolution we're evolving today is Sylveon, the newest edition, and we're already evolving it. And to be fair, it's not that new. I mean, it's been like, what, 10 years? Yeah, we all know that
Don't
Sylveon
say it,
uses...
dude. Don't say that. Jesus Christ. We don't need to say that. We could have just kept that one to ourselves.
ribbons to calm people down. But what intrigued me about Sylveon's lore is that half of its Pokedex entries talk about how it mostly uses its ribbon-like feelers to weaken hostility in its prey, and once its prey doesn't have the will to fight, it attacks, aiming straight for its opponent's weak spots. Almost sounds like Sylveon relishes the kill, and since it's able to sense an opponent's weak...
Oh yeah, don't be fooled. This thing's gorgeous, pretty looking face. No. It's got the soul of a demon within it. We might think the Flareon evolution was a demon, but no, this Sylveon is the real evil.
spot, I'm gonna interpret some aura powers latent in Sylveon. A fairy fighting Sylveon that uses its ribbons
Fighting? Okay, interesting.
to fight and strike its foes' vital spots sounds pretty badass.
Oh wait, that's actually really cool. It has its ribbons that uses as almost like arms. It's like that, like Doctor Octopus, Spider-Man, Marvel movies, The Avengers, Endgame, Thanos.
It'll have a bandage aesthetic too, with those ribbons, so it'll already look like a natural progression. We're trying to start with a dynamic pose. Dude has long arms and is semi-bipedal, but most importantly, the dude is pissed. He is itching for a fight. Since we're diverging so much from Sylveon's stance, the ears
This is like Mickey Mouse when he got into Kingdom Hearts and started beating the fuck out of
and
people.
various other traits will be relatively the same. I'll add a few more tufts of fur to indicate how ratty this Pokemon is, but also to make it look more like a moon rabbit. The proportions are a bit uncanny, so I'll make it a bit more quadrupedal. The ribbons on Sylveon's head will now look more like the tassels on a karate headband. The ribbons coming out of the
This is a really interesting idea. Oh yeah, the ribbons are like kind of like Rock Lee-esque from Naruto. That's really cool. And you could probably control them individually
neck
too.
will wrap around the arms like bandages, but will unravel and twirl around when mid-fight. I'll give it actual pupils and
Oh my god, it's like
similar
arms.
patterns to Sylveon, but create actual segments to its fur instead of painting on patterns. Finalizing the ribbon on the other arm, but at this point I kind of thought it looked too much like a regional form, like an
Wait, I just realized. Oh my god, I've just realized what this means. If we evolve the Eeveelutions, it means that the original ones can use Eviolite. It means that Umbreon and Sylveon can use Eviolite. This is not good news.
angry fighting type Sylveon, so I evolved the pattern on its head. Again, since it's not a Sylveon anymore, patterns and features should move around and change. It's literally Sylveon's color scheme, but with a new pattern on his face, it looks like this Pokemon's face is red with rage. Here
This is really cute.
Sylveus.
Look at this. Damn. All right. So we have 110 attack. Pixelate. Oh, dude, it's over, man. Are you kidding me? Pixelate? Pixelate facade, maybe? Oh, Jesus Christ. With Unburden? Oh, there's some ridiculousness we could do with this. We could do Pixelate, Terra Fairy, Terra Blast, or Body Slam. Pixelate Body Slam. Ooh, this is scary. This is some scary stuff here. Look at this shiny. Shiny's pretty cool too. Shiny looking good. Has the same relative color
The
scheme.
intertwining Pokemon, a fairy fighting type. Sylveon's suppressed rage and fighting skill is unleashed upon evolution. It is now
Oh my god, it'll get Drain Punch. You could run this Assault Vested too. Oh, Jesus,
able to fully
criminate.
sense aura and enhance its punches to crush boulders. It surges aura through its intertwining ribbon-like feelers that wrap around its arms to release devastating blows to its opponent's vitals. It wraps its prey in ribbons only to finish them off with consecutive punches. It is very efficient and does not make any superfluous moves. It goes directly for its opponent's weak spot and finishes them off as quickly as possible.
That's
the
so
duality
cool.
between its desire to fight and end conflicts leaves it fairly unsatisfied. It's common for Sylveus to calm down other Sylveus so that they can find moments
He fights to end conflicts. This is like Deku from My Hero Academia. He fights so that he can bring about peace and end conflicts in the most pacifist way they can.
carry peace. Throughout history, history, humans have used Sylveus as the symbol of man's duality, the capacity for both war and peace. It has the abilities Unburden and Pixelate. I love the pose I gave it, and the shading that adds more dimension to its design is immaculate. Since I'm still not a master, I definitely struggle with making my art a bit flat, although that's mostly because of the time constraints when making these videos, but this is a design I'm personally confident in how three-dimensional it looks. If you
Yeah, it's really cute. It also reminds me of the idea that's like, listen, I didn't start the fight, but I will end it.
If you were particularly impressed with this patch, leave a like and subscribe for more. Check the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and
That
my
was really
Patreon,
cute.
where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you can also do.
And you can also watch the follow-up video, What if Eeveelutions evolved again, with the rest of the Eeveelutions, which I'll leave the link in the description as well as this original video if you want to watch it by itself. And if you want to see more of my dumb face, then you can always subscribe here as well.